On my walk across the country, I lived with a group known as the 12 Tribes Religious Community.
For our investigation into the religious cult 12 Tribes.
Behind closed doors, they tear families apart,
Lacks medical care.
and treat children like slaves.
Tonight, inside the 12 Tribes.
I ended up being brainwashed right from the beginning.
This is not clickbait, a fake undercover investigation, or an exposure video. This is my genuine experience. Even in the 21st century, groups like these fly under the radar. Chances are, you've never even heard of this cult unless you've been to their restaurant, called the Yellow Deli. But they have compounds all around the world, even in Czech Republic, Japan, and Argentina. If you hike the Appalachian Trail, many of your days will be filled with whispers and rumors about the Yellow Deli. They work pretty hard to recruit thru-hikers who they might view as lost souls. I met a hiker who had left the trail to join, women with bachelors and PhDs, and many who were born there. Just like how you're on your best behavior when you invite a stranger into your home, I understand that myself and others will never truly know what goes on behind closed doors. You would have to be a member for years to have an understanding, but I will admit, a few doors were opened. There is a ton of misinformation about this cult out there. First of all, you don't have to pretend to be anything to be invited to their farm. Just ask. One of the biggest sources of misinformation comes from a college journalism major who pretended to be undercover and then wrote a ridiculous, sensationalistic story about their visit. This is where the rumor started that the cult was trying to murder 140,000 male virgins. You could probably visit as a reporter as long as you aren't lying, bashing their beliefs, or spreading misinformation. That's pretty understandable. Their goal is to create a pure and loving community that's raised at least 144,000 male children. So what are the red flags? Their beliefs state that women are subservient to men. I only saw women and girls cooking and raising children, while the men and boys were doing farm labor. When I asked, they said that the women were content with their work, but they were free to help with harvest if they wanted to. I did eventually see a lady out harvesting green beans all day. I don't think that they were being denied what they wanted to do, and none of them gave me the feeling that they were being abused or unhappy. A few years back, 40 children were taken from one of the compounds because of complaints of child abuse. But they couldn't find enough evidence, and the children were brought back the next day. I never saw it, but one of the hikers said there were wooden switches in the bathroom for correcting children. It's completely possible, and it's mentioned in a lot of first-hand accounts. Personally, I never saw anything close to child abuse. I saw children swimming and playing in the same creek each day, toddlers holding hands and being cared for, and a father's love in his voice when he talked about his son. Only one of the many older boys seemed unhappy with his work and the elders, and it's completely understandable. What 13-year-old wants to weed crops all day? In general, they talk to their children like they're adults, trust them, and give them complicated tasks that most children wouldn't be able to do. All of the children were extremely mature and intelligent for their age. I've never seen a 10-year-old boy who could maneuver a tractor or a forklift so easily. Anyone is free to leave the community at any time, and they aren't cut off from their friends or family on the outside. Communication is fairly limited because of lack of a personal phone, but while we were visiting, we saw the parents of a member who were really happy to be there. A lot of members will have their families visit once a year or so, and sometimes they'll leave to visit them outside the community. They live a sustainable life that requires hard work and long hours to provide for the community. There is no personal money, and employees of their businesses aren't paid, but they also don't pay for anything. They're able to avoid most taxes, and profits from their businesses are spent as seen fit by a small group of elders. They try to keep everything in the community, and unfortunately, they wait to see outside doctors until it becomes a very urgent scenario. In the end, the Yellow Deli is a cult. They do have religious beliefs that may cause harm to certain members. Unfortunately, so do most religions. But they are also kind people working for a self-sufficient lifestyle focused on community. They're not going to harm you or force you into joining them. They're not above the law, and they're not dangerous. Visit one of their farms and make your own judgment. Don't believe the stories. Don't worry, they'll let you leave. But maybe you won't want to. If you liked this video, please let me know down below and subscribe to follow along with all of our shenanigans.